Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you very much for joining today. We had the good fortune to be able to share this presentation at the Chicago Apple Store on Michigan Avenue during RSNA, where we had a significant number of folks join us in the briefing center at the Apple Store to discuss Horos and what we're doing at Purview to sponsor Horos. And ensure a long-lasting open source medical image viewer that you can use in research, education, and in your clinical practice around the world. So today is our Horos users meeting, and again, this is an opportunity for us to share the presentation that we gave at the Apple Store with a few nips and tucks. And an opportunity for you to learn more about what we're doing at Purview as it relates to Horos. So quick introduction. My name is Phil Jackson. I'm one of the co-founders at Purview. I've been working in the medical imaging space for just over 12 years now. It's something that I enjoy incredibly. I've had the opportunity to work with Osirix, one of the leading open source medical image viewers that I'm sure you're aware of, for almost as long as it's existed. And I've worked to support it in organizations around the world, small and large. In fact, at Purview, we're responsible for managing one of the largest implementations of Purview of Osirix in the world at the Veterans Affairs Health Administration. So again, my name is Phil Jackson. I'm one of the co-founders here at Purview and have been working in the medical imaging space for just over, I guess, just over 12 years. It's hard to believe, but that's how long I've been working in this space. At Purview, we really aim to address all sorts of needs that revolve around medical image management. And we do that in the cloud. So first and foremost, we are a cloud-based medical image management platform. We enable access to medical images anywhere, anytime, on any device. And we do that using a combination of technologies, which include Osirix, Horos, and our zero footprint medical image viewer for iOS and the web. We really focus on ensuring deliverability of images and access to images anywhere, anytime, on any device, as I've stated, and that means access on any platform. At Purview, we have over 120 customers globally that we support. We're responsible for over 150 million medical imaging studies in the cloud, and we ensure access to that data, again, anywhere, anytime, on any device, as I've said, and we do that using just incredible open source technology that's available, made available by institutions, organizations, and people around the globe. Open source really plays a fundamental role in medical imaging, in every facet of medical imaging. And our experience with Osirix is substantial. We have thousands of Osirix end users that we support, and it's one of the primary motivators behind our starting the Horos project. So we started the Horos project, and the reason we started the Horos project is because Pixmio, the company who is ultimately responsible for Osirix, had taken a different path, if you will, to how they were delivering software and making it available. Osirix was becoming or looking more like shareware, in that numerous features and functionality were being escalated to the paid version of software and were not any longer available in the open source version of software. And because of those changes that were occurring with Osirix, we saw an opportunity to fork Osirix and create Horos. When someone forks an open source application, it means they take the code, a snapshot of that most recent code, and they begin to develop their own project from it. And the Horos project is very much intended to be its own project. So while today it looks very much like Osirix, our intent is to scale it and develop for it in a way that truly meets the needs of the community, and all while ensuring that it remains open source and available to the community. Our first release of Horos was on Valentine's Day 2015. Our goal with that initial launch was to ensure that folks had an option as Osirix was actively closing down its capabilities and elevating them into the paid version, Osirix MD. We wanted to ensure that folks had an alternative option, and Horos is an alternative option to Osirix. It's 64-bit, fully capable of evaluating complex data sets. And it is, totally uninhibited. We have over 6,000 users worldwide, probably close to 6,500 users worldwide today, with approximately 30 new individuals downloading Horos on a daily basis. While our first release was on February 14th of 2015, we've released, I believe, 15 new versions of software, and Fauzi can correct me if I'm wrong. We'll let him join in here momentarily. Fauzi is one of the chief developers who are working on the Horos project, but I believe we've had 15 software releases. So we're here today to hear from you, and so we're excited about inquiring and asking questions and seeing how you're using Horos. Before we do that, we want to give Fauzi an opportunity to speak. Fauzi Polpetta. I'm going to go ahead and join him in right now. And Fauzi, you're unmuted, so you should be able to speak now.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Hi, everybody. As Phil introduced me, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. As Phil said, my name is Fauzi. I joined Purview, I think 8 months ago, in order to collaborate as a part-time collaborator and helping them with the Horos initiative. And the past 7 years, I was involved with the software development for medical devices, more specifically devices dedicated to neurosurgery, neuronavigation, neurostimulation devices. And when I saw the Horos initiative and considering that Osirix followed a new path in terms of development, I decided myself to join Purview and help them to turn Horos an open source and open and free platform for radiologists and other and several medical areas that rely on image and medical image to perform their daily work, right? So about Horos, technically speaking, Horos support DICOM 3.0, right? Which means that Horos features support for different modalities, which means it is able to load different kinds of images, MRI, CT, PET scan, right? It's a pre-recurrent support for DICOM images, right? It also features easy integration to modalities and PACS systems, which means that Horos has an interface that turns the software able to be connected to other radiology workstations and PACS systems in a medical environment, medical hospital environment. In terms of image visualization, Horos features multiplanar, curved, and volumetric reconstructions, which means that users can have a high level of anatomy detailing when dealing with medical images. These reconstructions turnables to physicians and radiologists to cross-cutting regions of interest in the most different ways. it's as any other ordinary radiology workstation. Also, Horos also featured a full set of image manipulation functions as span, zoom, windowing, rotate, and annotations. And the most interesting part is the ability to be extended via a plugin, which means that Horos can be new functions can be added to Horos by third parties initiatives. These plugins can, for example, be surgical planning and simulation software and computer aid diagnostic systems and very different types of medical image processing pieces of software. As Phil mentioned, we have, since our first release, we have a 15 release, include the first one, which basically focus on the usability improvements and functional improvements in terms of bug fixes, and the port to OS X El Capitan, which is the latest version of the Apple operating system, which means that Horos has an active and very supported community around its development, which this community is reporting regularly a lot of bugs for us. Some of them not actually bugs, but the majority of these bugs, as we can see in our GitHub repository, are related to the ability of open different images. In radiology world, most of the bugs that appears are related to the ability of dealing with a different kind of image that came from a modality from a specific brand. And we are paying a lot of attention on this and solving this regularly, right? As Phil mentioned too, we have 1,000 of users around the world, which are not restricted to medical professions. We have a lot of engineers and IT professionals that are supporting us, providing ideas, bug reports, and suggesting enhancements for Horos. We are paying a lot of attention on this. And since RSNA, our meeting at RSNA, we have to mention that we increased the number of interactions we have in our community and the number of reports that we have found in our GitHub repository, source code repository of Horos. So it's a growing piece of software in terms of use and development, and we are very happy about that. Horos is then open source, publicly available for everyone. It's open for enhancements and improvements, and now open for commercial purpose, since we have been changing the license model that we initially adopted. We changed it from GPL to LGPL, and Phil will give more details about that. But I'd like to thank you all the community, for reporting bugs, for suggesting ideas, for requesting enhancements, and leave the message that we are pretty dedicated to keep Horos very used radiology workstation. So Phil, you can go on.
So we're really excited about Fauzi's work on Horos. Keep in mind there are other individuals who are working on Horos as well and contributing to the community. We sponsor Fauzi in his efforts with the intent of ensuring that there is an ombudsman or a person who is focused on ensuring that the work that's done by the community is part of a larger scaled strategy and can help direct some of that development effort. So Fauzi's work has been fantastic. He's put numerous hours into working on Horos and ensuring that it's meeting the needs of the community members. As we take Horos forward, we will be transitioning the licensing from GPL to LGPL. And what this allows us to do is ensure that folks who want to develop on Horos and want to work on the platform can build capabilities and technologies and plugins where their source code does not have to be made open source. And that is the most differentiating characteristic between GPL and LGPL. with GPL, any module or plugin or addenda to Horos has to be publicly available. As its source code has to be made publicly available. With LGPL, that's not the case, and we think it's important to transition from GPL to LGPL again to allow engineering professionals to be able to create, distribute, and sell Horos plugins for different different uses and different applications. So very important, and something that we've done in the latest release of Horos, and something that we're certainly excited about. We did release Horos under GPL initially because we felt that it was critically important to ensure that there was the most open license possible to protect its survivability. We didn't really know how the community was going to respond, and it's clear at this point this is an appropriate juncture to change the licensing. I'd like to talk a little bit about FDA approval and ask a question to the folks that are actively attending this webinar. And keep in mind, you can reach out to us with the GoToWebinar control panel. I'm actually going to create a quick poll right now. So just give me a moment. And this poll is just going to ask you, whether or not FDA approval would help you. So does FDA approval help you in your practice, research, etc.? And it's just a yes or no question. And we're going to go ahead and make that poll available to you right now. We'd love to get a response. So the poll is in progress. You should be able to submit a response right now. We just love to hear from you as to whether or not FDA is important. Now, keep in mind, FDA approval in its own right gets us to a point where the application can be used for primary diagnosis in the United States. But it's also a tool that we can use to get other approvals. So we can use it as a as a mechanism to get other approvals more easily. And that's wonderful. I'm so thankful that all of you took the time to answer that poll. We're going to go ahead and close that out. That information is very useful for us as we investigate how to make Horos more meaningful for you. We'd love to hear from you. So we've done a lot of talking, 21 minutes worth. We'd love to hear a little bit about how you use Horos in your practice. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, you can certainly do that, and you can send those questions using the GoToWebinar control panel. And we have some prompters here. Why do you like Horos? Why is it not your primary workstation? What needs does Horos fulfill, doesn't fulfill, and how do you address mobility? So if you'd like to ask some questions, we'd certainly welcome that opportunity. If you'd like to send those questions to us using the GoToWebinar control panel, that would be wonderful. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to throw those questions our way. We have a question from Todd Jensen. Are there plans to keep the plugin interface harmonized with Osirix to avoid redundant development by third parties? It's a great question. There are plans to keep things harmonized so that those plugins do continue to work. In fact, we put a great deal of effort into testing plugins. But keep in mind, as we begin to fork away from Osirix and we begin to engage in development activities, it's possible things could start to work a little differently, and it may have an impact with the plugins. So if you are an active developer working on plugins, we'd encourage you to take a close look at your plugin and validate it for Horos to make sure there aren't any major differences. We are working on looking at ways to make development of plugins more easy. So perhaps a more directed API or a more directed set of tools to help you build plugins. And we believe the first steps to that are ensuring that our software licensing is established correctly for our developers, which we've put some effort into recently, and we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at that in the future. Great question. We have a question from Michael Boss. Any plans to port Horos to Linux or Windows? I can let Fauzi respond on this one. It's a super complicated task due to some of the inherent technologies in Horos that rely or that are available exclusively for Mac. Fauzi, do you have any input on this one?
Yeah, I have an input on this one. Actually, Horos is built on top of Objective-C, which is one of the programming language and environments of that Apple adopt for development. The other one is Swift, which is the newest one. And behind Objective-C and behind Horos is Cocoa, which is a framework that belongs to Apple. So, which means that we cannot port Horos to Windows or Linux. Even in Windows, we have an initiative called Next, which enable us to write things in Objective-C and have some level of portability. But Cocoa, which is the graphical framework of Apple, does not avoid us to do that. But we consider Horos a very great spec that can be written by great developers on Linux and Windows. So this is something that we at Peerview are thinking about. But in terms of portability, the answer is no.
Thanks, Fauzi. Yeah, it's a question that gets asked frequently, Michael, and it's something we'd love to be able to say we could do. But right now it doesn't look entirely practical. Maybe in the future, perhaps. Maybe Microsoft and Apple will start to play nicely and build a toolkit that allows you to run these applications on within the Windows operating system.
Yeah, they do a silver bullet.
Yeah, right, exactly. Are there any other questions that anybody has? We've got a bunch of people attending today. Want to see if there are any other questions. One just came through. Is there any? Do you intend to profit off of Horos? Are you going to make it closed source and make it commercial software like Pixmio has? And the answer is no. Our intent is to protect Horos as an open source project, ensure its survivability, and continue to make it great. We have no intent at all to make it a commercial product or make it something that you have to pay for. Should we go down the path of getting FDA approval? It's fair to suggest that there might be some compensation method that's set up, but if we were to do that, it would be very, 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 very affordable. We'd be looking to disrupt the medical imaging marketplace with the most affordable, FDA-approved medical image viewer in the world. So no, we have no intentions to disrupt what we're doing here. So I hope that answers your question. There's another question. Is there a possibility of getting other approvals like the CE mark in Europe or Health Canada? And again, I think it's incredibly important to realize that with FDA approval, we would have the tools necessary to go after other, accreditations or certifications. So that's something that we want to learn more about from the community, and if there is significant interest, pursue. We have another question from Michael. Can there be some work done on making it easier to export ROI statistics? I find it a bit time consuming to get my ROI stats. Depending on how the data is scaled by the vendors, it can be hard to read the values. This is something that we would really like you to tell us about using the GitHub repository. So make a feature request. Fauzi can speak to this, perhaps. He's more of a technical medical imaging guru than I am at this level. Fauzi, is there a better way to get ROI statistics out of Horos?
Yeah, which kind of statistics, Phil? You mentioned
The
that?
region of interest, ROI statistics, exporting ROI statistics.
Exporting statistics.
Yeah, mean, median, mode, minimum, standard deviation for ROIs.
Okay, perhaps actually this kind of statistics are not available in Horos in the Q distribution. What I can ask for this attendee is to send us an idea of what he wants in terms of statistics, and we can try to imagine a plugin for that and give the instructions of how to implement this plugin, or even the community, which is more and more active in terms of development. We can try to devise a plugin to provide this kind of statistics. But in the current distribution, we don't have this possibility, I think.
Yeah, so Michael, any information you can provide to us, how you're getting this information out of the system today, what you'd like it
Yeah.
to look like, maybe a little mock-up in like PowerPoint or something to help us understand, specifically what you're looking for, that would be very helpful. You can send it to Horos at horosproject.org. And I believe we have some contact information in the slide deck at the end. We'll put that up and make sure you have access to it. You could also shoot it over to us via GitHub. That's certainly an option. We have another question here. Is there a place or process developers can find to work on issues or features to help contribute to the project? Yes. If you get a GitHub account, to start there and take a look at the bugs that have been reported. Take a look at the documents that we've made available on the website and see, ask questions. Use the forum on the Horos site. That's a great resource to ask questions. Dalsy and I pay attention to that on a regular basis, and there's a lot of opportunity there for you to really dig in. But if you have any particular questions and you'd like to engage with us directly, you're more than welcome to do that through the forum or by email. And I did put the slide up that has our contact information on it. I think that'll be helpful. Well, great. This has been a wonderful session. It's really it's great to get a dialogue going with you guys when you join in. We have recorded this session, so we'll make it available online. Craig, our guru at the office, our marketing guru, will make sure that takes place. Craig's also, the guy you'll talk to if you have any questions about Purview, about our products, any interest in using our cloud platform. Craig's a great resource, and he can be reached at the telephone number below. He can also be reached by email at horos@horosproject.org. If there aren't any more questions, we're going to let you guys go. We'll stay on the line here for just a minute in case you guys have any additional questions. And we look forward to learning how you use Horos. We look forward to you guys joining the forums. We look forward to all of that. I just had a question from another individual. Is there any application or plugin for orthopedics and veterinary medicine? I believe there is a templating plugin for veterinary medicine that's been made available, specifically for templating, different joint replacements. I would take a look in the plugins drop-down menu and see what's out there. It's also good to do a Google search for orthopedic plugins and veterinary and see what comes up. Lots of options out there. If you're a vet, reach out to Purview. Purview's got some great cloud-based image management solutions for you that work internationally, and we'd encourage you guys to take those products for a test drive. We're going to go ahead and spin this webinar down. We really appreciate, again, you spending the time with us today, and we look forward to hearing more about how you use Horos. Thank you very much.
Thank you.